The South African officials have now been allowed to meet the United States White House officials. The South African officials from the Department of International Cooperation and Development, or DICO, have arrived in the United States, and they had a meeting with the Americans. During the meeting, they explained the policies of the Ramaphosa government. However, they did not make any concessions, and therefore the meeting ended without any change of position. In fact, President Trump has slammed South Africa less than an hour ago. President Trump says a lot of things are happening in South Africa, and all of them are bad things, and the fake media is refusing to report it. So what it means is that President Trump still believes that the wrong things are happening in South Africa. The South Africans believe that what they're doing is okay. So what is going to happen is nothing is going to change, and there's going to be a removal of South Africa from the benefits of AGOA. AGOA is coming to an end in about September. So President Trump is not happy with the South Africans because of their approach of BEE or DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. So I just wanted to see if I can get the spot where President Trump is speaking here about diversity, equity, and inclusion in South Africa. So let's see what President Trump said here.
Imported all from different countries. A single shipyard in China now produces more ships every year than all of the American shipyards combined. Think of that. And it was a business that we used to dominate. We used to dominate it totally. In short, chronic trade deficits are no longer merely an economic problem. They're a national emergency that threatens our security and our very way of life. It's a very great threat to our country. And for these reasons, starting tomorrow, the United States will implement reciprocal tariffs on other nations. It's been a long time since we even thought of that. We used to think about it a lot. We didn't think about it for many decades, and you see what's happened. For nations that treat us badly, we will calculate the combined rate of all their tariffs, non-monetary barriers, and other forms of cheating. And because we are being very kind, we're kind people, very kind. You're not so kind when you got ripped off with your salaries. My auto worker friends and my Teamster friends and all of the unions that typically voted Democrat, they're not voting Democrat anymore because worker, whether union or non-worker, they're for the Republicans now. That's what happened. But we will charge them approximately half of what they are and have been charging us. So the tariffs will be not a full reciprocal. I could have done that, yes, but it would have been tough for a lot of countries who didn't want to do that. I'd like to see the chart if you have it. Could you bring it up, Howard? This is our great Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick. Thanks, Howard. So if you look at that.
So I'm not going to
China,
get to this point. There's, I don't know, the guys have moved my point, my mark. So I guess when other news networks move their news, they do some edits. So where we thought the statement was, it's not there, but we're going to pull it out, and I'll show you what President Trump has said about South Africa. President Trump believes that in South Africa, there is a benefit going to the South Africans of about $4 billion US, but the United States is getting nothing on AGOA. So there was a delegation that went to the United States of a group of farmers called Agri SA, and they met a whole bunch of people in America, and that message was communicated that the United States is giving but is receiving nothing. So the expectation is that President Trump is going to cut or push out South Africa from AGOA. South Africa has not done enough, and President Trump believes that the South Africans are not doing enough and are benefiting. The same way that he removed US aid, he's also going to remove all the benefits of AGOA. And this is how it is. It's crazy, and it's going to be a big hit on South Africa. Last night, the rand tumbled by 1.6%. So it's crazy what is happening in South Africa. And I guess the South Africans have to change the way they think. However, there is a belief in South Africa, which also is in business, that there's need to address the inequalities of the past. So Rob Lowenson of Old Mutual is quoted today in the press as saying that South Africa should not stop DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and says investors should not be afraid of coming into South Africa because of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And Rob Lowenson is Old Mutual head of responsible investment. There is a deep misunderstanding in South Africa. Two sides to this discussion to say, is South Africa supposed to then do what the Americans want, or the Americans must do what the South Africans want? But if you are getting money and the economy depends on that money, I believe that it's two ways to act. I believe that the South Africans are the ones that need to change. I don't believe that the benefits they are getting from BEE are enough to cover the loss that they will get from going against the Americans. So if I was the South Africans, I'll do away with the BEE rules. I'll put away the policies that are making the Americans unhappy, and it will be much better because they'll get the money back. There'll be a lot of money coming to South Africa. The rand will get stronger, and in the longer run, the South Africans will benefit better than going against the Americans. America is very strong, and you can't go against